Hello, my name's Alan Marsh and I'm here to talk to you about teacher development courses with Easy School of Languages on the island of Malta in the Mediterranean. Our teacher development courses are in two strands. We work a lot on language development. We're aware that many of you don't get much chance to actually speak English at the level that perhaps you'd like to, speaking to lower level students all the time. So we work a lot on that. And our second strand is we look at teaching techniques and ideas which you can use in your classrooms with your students. And of course, there's Malta as part of the course and also outside the course as well. In the language development part of the course, we look mainly at several areas here. Speaking fluency, first of all, building your confidence, reactivating your English, all the English which is rusty and a little bit forgotten. We look at lexis, vocabulary, and particularly at new words in English and current, everyday, idiomatic English, things that some of your students might ask you about that they hear on songs or in films. And we also work on your pronunciation, making it that bit better, that bit faster. And we also look at what we like to call new grammar, how grammar is changing in the English language, and some stuff which isn't in the grammar books yet, but will be in a year or two. The speaking fluency part of the course, well, that's lots of discussions at quite a high level. We're working at B2, C1, C2 level, role plays, problem-solving activities, lots of telling anecdotes, talking about experiences. And we'll also be looking at telling stories and a few jokes. We'll have a few laughs as well. So our aim is to keep you talking and of course listening. The lexis, well, just a few examples of some idiomatic language. I work like a, I slept like a, or when we're talking about mistakes, you're barking up the wrong, I'm sure you can finish that one off, or you've got the wrong end of the. And what about these new phrases which have appeared in English in the last 3 or 4 years? You can't put lipstick on a... The answer's yes, a pig. And what about the elephant in the... And have you had a senior moment recently? Not sure what these mean? Come and find out. And what about pronunciation? What about these sounds? Shwi, zin, Italian, Jew. These are all in the language when we speak fast. And remember, we'll be looking at intonation. As the old saying goes, it's not what you said, darling. It's the way that you said it. It's how you said it. And what else will we be doing? Oh, we'll be looking at that old hot potato. Which English model should we use? American English? British English? Or something else? Well, we've got a few ideas to get you thinking. New grammar. Here are a couple of questions for you to ponder. Well, is this true or is this false that we sometimes use will to talk about routines in the present or activities in the present? And what about this one? Do you think this is true? That the most common way of introducing direct speech in the English language today is by using the word like. One more for you. The first, second and third conditional, we teach them all the time. They're myths. There are only 2 categories of conditional. Is that true or is it false? Come to the course. We'll tell you all about it. Lots of teaching techniques that we'll be looking at. Here's just an example. Ways of teaching grammar, teaching vocabulary, using pop songs in the classroom as a means of language resources. We'll be training you how to tell stories and jokes in English. And we'll be looking at lots of ways of having fun in the classroom. A few other things, maybe you're familiar with them, maybe not. Dictogloss, Dogme, CR activities. And ways of catering for all of the 8 or 9 intelligences. And finally, what about the second syllabus, the secret syllabus? We'll talk about that too. Here's an example of one of the ways that we can look at language. Grammar, for you, what's grammar like? Is it a horror? Or are you happy to teach grammar? And what about your students? Do they jump for joy when you teach them grammar? Or do they look a bit like this? Well, our fundamental question is, how can we make grammar engaging, meaningful, relevant to students, and mainly memorable? Well, we think there are two main ways of doing that, and that's by engaging students in two ways, involving their minds and involving their emotions and their feelings. Here's an example, a very quick example of what we mean. This is Amy. She's 12 years old. She's not looking very happy, is she? Well, she's madly in love with Robert, who also happens to be the star of the Twilight series of films. So she's got a big crush on Robert. But the problem is, well, you'll see in a moment, this is Ben, and he would love to buy a guitar. And here is Stuart and Carol, and they would love to, you've got it, go to Disneyland. Well, Amy's sad and unhappy because she doesn't have any money, but she thinks, if a lot of money, Robert. Yes, you've got it. If I had a lot of money, I'd visit Robert. And Ben's thinking, yes, if I had a lot of money, I'd buy a guitar. And Stuart and Carol, if I had a lot of money, we'd go to Disneyland. That's just one way of just tuning into the students straight away. Oh, let's not forget culture, history and relaxation. After the lessons, there's lots of it in Malta. We've got prehistoric temples, artifacts, Roman museums, buildings dating from the 17th century, beautiful Baroque art, cities built hundreds of years ago, peaceful places, interesting places to visit. This one was the centre of Malta in the 14th century. And now it's almost like a silent, forgotten Arabic city full of mystery and dark corners. And of course everywhere, churches. But there are modern parts, though they don't lose their old local flavour either. And how are you going to get around? Well, these are quite an experience for you. So, you also want to go to the sea. Well, we've got plenty of that. Beautiful bays. After the lessons, we can whisk you off to beaches all over Malta. Well, I'll be running the courses in Malta, and I hope that you'll be one of the participants in my class. So, looking forward to it. See you in Malta.